Okay. Hi, my name is Bert-Jan Kollmer and I'm working with Stichting OVO. We are a foundation for primary and secondary schools in the center of the Netherlands. We aim at the optimization of the development of the talents of our children. That is what we think is very important in education. But also, we strive for a more continuous learning development line from primary to secondary education. And we know that the role of parents in learning and education is essential for good results of our children. We also know that a binding between people in this 21st century is an important issue, and that schools perform a major task in this matter. So binding is a major issue at our schools, and first we started internally. In building our continuous learning line between the primary and the secondary schools, our teachers from primary and secondary schools had to find each other and had to work together in a very intensive way. It did cost us about 4 years to perform a nice efficiency status. But right now we think we do it very good. But then the next step will be to find binding with all the parties outside the school, in the exterior of the schools. And of course, when you go outside the school, what is the first group of exterior people you meet? Of course, that are the parents. So we want to invest in the relation with our parents. We want to know them better. If so, we can work much better together, we teachers and parents, for the results of our children. And we just started this year a foundation broad project with a nice title, Community. Of course, in Africa, they already knew what it's all about. When I say it takes a village to raise a child, you know, of course, what I mean. Well, right now, we here in Gorinchem, in the center of Holland, are trying to cooperate much better with our parents to realize better results, educational results for our children. But then we encountered the Corona crisis. Of course, it's a very big, major problem, but also, I think it brings many chances. But only if we are willing and able to make use of this fantastic momentum. Perhaps now it's the right time to alter some things in our educational program we're already doing for many and many years. I name, after Corona, we once again will start at the very same early hour, 8:30 a day, for our children. Even though we notice that our children function better when they start somewhat later. That is one of the lessons we learned in this Corona crisis. Once again, after Corona, will we perform our regular educational program, even though we know that children learn better and more if they have to solve problems and have to encounter real challenges. Isn't it time to readdress our program in that way? Third, we once again, after Corona, put our children in the same groups determined by age, even though we know that children of different ages are very good in helping each other. Isn't it time to rearrange our groups? Fourth, we once again, after Corona, start testing in the same summative way we did it in the last couple of years, even though we know that it's better to measure the results of children over a longer time than the moment is perhaps right now to leave the summative tests behind and make the step to formative testing, which is much more concerning the development of our children. And last, once again, after Corona, are we going back to our theoretical programs instead of realistic, contextful educational situations from day to day in real life? We know, of course, that children learn much more being in a practical, real life situation than when we give them a book, a theoretical book. So isn't it time to rearrange our programs in this way? Of course, we can make this list, and I only mentioned 5 of them. We can make this list of adjustments as long as necessary. But the main lesson for me would be this. Isn't the Corona crisis a fine moment to judge our present way of working with children? And of course, we should start with the beginning. The why question of our education. Why do we educate our children? And with what purpose? If we do it like this, it might be a much easier way to realize ourselves that the choices we've made, for example 10 years ago, concerning the organization of our educational program, they might be right at that moment. But right now we are 10 years further, in the 21st century already, and they might not be that effective anymore. So please, I ask you, join me and adapt. Thank you very much for your attention.